Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hey you, how you doing? I got an itch. So, it's Wednesday. It's the 19th of March, and I was about to say something about weather, and you know what? I'm going to bite my tongue. Enough already. I actually have something sort of fun to start the show with. For a change! Nothing earth-shattering. Just something I came upon while, flitting around the internet. And, well, let's have some fun with this. I'm going to ask a question. And I know I won't get an answer because every time I do this, nobody calls, nobody, and then of course people are Googling before they get, so that doesn't count. So then I use Jess as my my foil. Okay, what is the closest United State to Africa? Well, what would you say? I know what I think I would immediately have said Florida.
That's what I was going to say, but I didn't.
Then you think, nah, can't be.
It would be a trick because.
Right, and then you think, no, maybe it's one of those like Carolina with the sort of like stuck out a little more into the ocean. Yeah. Well, it's an unbelievable answer. Maine. I know! It doesn't seem to make any sense to me either, but it's true. Maine! I think our problem is we've looked at the world on those flat Mercator maps, right? And it distorts, I guess, where things really are. Maine, unless, this isn't properly fact-checked, Maine is the closest U.S. state to Africa. Wow. Let's see. Some of these are really... Okay. Did Cleopatra live closer to the time of the building of the pyramids, the Great Pyramid, or to the invention of the iPhone? Which was a shorter distance? Here's Cleo. Here's the pyramids. Here's the iPhone. What was she closest to?
iPhone.
iPhone, says Jess, because it's sort of counterintuitive, right? And of course, that's correct. Cleopatra lived closer to the invention of the iPhone than she did to the erection of the Great Pyramid. What color is hippo milk?
Orange.
Orange. Close. It's pink. It's pink. It truly is pink. And here's another little known fact. Saudi Arabia. You know where the camels in Saudi Arabia come from? They don't come from Saudi Arabia. The camels in Saudi Arabia come from Australia. while we're at it, do you know Barbie's full name? Do you know Barbie has a full name?
I do.
Oh, you do?
I used to know it, but I don't remember.
Clearly a wasp. Barbara Millicent Roberts. Barbara Millicent Roberts. And while we're on the subject of Barbie, did you see that the Girl Scouts of America, GSA, have somehow gotten on board with Barbie in some way, using her for, what was it? Can't remember. But some kind of a thing where the Girl Scouts have endorsed some kind of Barbie usage. And I'm proud to say that the Girl Scouts of Pittsburgh have said, screw that! And whatever the program is, I can't remember, they refuse to have anything to do with Barbie in Pittsburgh. Yes! Yes! Who knew? Cookie Monster has a Christian name. Did you know the Cookie... Okay. His name's Sid, which fits. He does look like a Sid. Okay. This one freaked me out, but there is a picture here that somewhat proves it. The heart of a blue whale is so big that a human being can swim through its arteries. I think a small human being. I wouldn't fit through that. But check this out. There is a picture of, okay, I mean, here, I'll put it here. That is a heart. You see the guy sort of off on the right there?
Ew!
Whoa. Jeez. Okay, which is older? The Aztec Empire or Oxford University?
Aztec.
Wrong! It's not Aztec. It's Oxford. Which strikes me as very strange.
That is strange.
And they don't give you any supporting, these are just factoids. Okay, and here's an interesting little thing. Can you recite Humpty Dumpty for me? We can do it together. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again.
Yes.
Whoever said he was an egg?
Nobody.
Nowhere in the poem is he referred to as an egg. But here's what I'm thinking. Yeah, but didn't the original Humpty Dumpty poem come in a book with an illustration?
I guess.
Yeah, so I think that's a bunch of baloney. But it is true, not once in the Humpty Dumpty nursery rhyme does it mention that Mr. Dumpty is an ovule or an ova. And yes, indeedy, she has to admit it, Betty White is actually older than sliced bread.
That's amazing.
When did they? So they did that like in the 20s, somewhere in the 20s, because Betty is like my mom's age. So she was born like in 22 or 21. So I wonder, sliced bread would have come out then a little bit after that, but not much. Do you know that a strawberry is not a berry, but a banana is? Don't ask me. Also, avocados are technically berries, and so are watermelons. That'd be a big berry. And here's another one that I simply can't get into my head. It's geography again, having to do with the United States and, I guess, latitudes and what. Hello? Caller? Hi. Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, I love Lynn's show, but all of a sudden I cannot get sound on the podcast or the live show. Is anyone else having problems?
Yeah, we were hearing such problems until yesterday when we thought we fixed them.
Oh, no.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to test them.
Wait, just hang on with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk.
Okay, I'm talking.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk. So, no, it's okay.
It is okay. Are you trying to listen live right now?
Yes, and I'm getting no sound. A beautiful picture, but no sound.
Are you doing it off of the City Paper website?
Yes.
Just refresh.
Refresh. Go back and do it again because we're doing it and we can hear the show okay. Okay? Just start over is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
and I can't get sound on the podcast either.
We'll try again.
Try again. And you know what? If you don't get it on the podcast later today, will you call again or shoot me an email?
I will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Now, that poor woman does not know that Maine is the closest U.S. state to Africa.
I know.
Think of what she has missed.
I know.
That she could swim through the arteries of a blue whale. Okay, here's the other geographical one that I just don't get. But again, it must be those flat old Mercator maps that misinformed us in school. New York City is further south than Rome, Italy. And here's why I think that is really weird. Because there are palm trees in Rome.
Yeah.
But you know what? There were palm trees in Sochi, Russia. And so I'm not sure about what would that be, longitude or latitude? I don't know. Is anyone enjoying this or should I cease and desist?
No, keep going.
You like, Jess is enjoying it. I like to keep Jess happy. Well, that's not surprising. Well, are there more plastic flamingos in the world than real flamingos?
Yeah.
Of course, right. I mean, come on. Okay. Here, any good fan of the Chicago Cubs will perhaps know this, although this is making it really, really hard to take. And as a Pittsburgh Pirate fan, I have some measure of sympathy and some empathy, but this is really mind-blowing. The last time the Chicago Cubs won the World Series, lollipops had not yet been invented. The Ottoman Empire still existed. And women did not have the right to vote in the United States.
The Pirates.
Well, but we had the longest streak of losing seasons.
That's
But that has to be the longest. Does it? Streak? Okay. Did you know that you share half of your DNA with a banana? Which, by the way, is a berry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and one more thing about the Cubs. This is so sad. The last time the Chicago Cubs won the World Series, Alaska, Arizona, Hawaii, and New Mexico were not even in the United States. I mean, well, they were not states yet. God, now this is weird. Pluto never made a full orbit around the sun from the time it was discovered until the time it was demoted as a planet. Never even made one damn orbit as a planet. That's sad. They could have at least let it make one orbit and then, Aw. Okay. Here's the good news. Never throw that honey out. Honey never spoils. You can eat honey that is 32,000 years old if you want to. It will be just as good as it ever was. Okay? If this is another audio problem, I'll scream. Hello?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Good. So can I hear you?
And I all want to ask you, some guy run this by me one time. He said every time a team builds a new stadium, they seem to win the World Series or the Super Bowl. Have you heard that before? I don't know if it's true or not.
No, I have not heard that before.
Yeah, they said isn't that funny when they get a new stadium or they seem to win the Super Bowl or something. I don't know if it's true or not, but
after we built Heinz Field, did we win then?
It was a couple years before.
no.
No. I think that's just bull.
Yeah, I think it's something he come up with. I think he thinks the game's fixed anyway, so.
Okay.
So,
Okay, because that might help, actually, when cities want to build if that were true, if cities want to build a stadium and have the poor taxpayers pay for it, they could say, but don't you want to be Super Bowl champs? Because if we build it, we'll win. Okay.
One other thing I want to ask you. Do you think the Republicans are going to take the Senate this midterm? It really concerns me.
Yeah, it concerns me too. And
I just could see impeachment on the table then. I mean, this is how crazy these people are.
Well, you're right. They could make a run at it. What do I know? I know what you know. I know what the pundits are telling me because I can't go from state to state and tell you really, what the odds are. But apparently it's looking very possible.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. Possible. Yes. Unbelievable. And if so, it would be the Republicans' last hurrah, I would think.
Oh, boy.
But what
Okay,
damage
then.
they could do on their deathbed. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good to hear from you. Oh, come on. It rains diamonds on Saturn and Jupiter. Don't ask me. That's what it says. Okay, Jess, I want you to try something right now because I'm gonna see if this is true. Would you please hold your nose and then hum? I'll do it for you here. You can. We've proved it. You cannot hold your nose and hum at the same time. Well, because humming has to do with, it has to, don't ask me, but you can't. Just a few more of these, guys. Man, we're all getting so smart. What? This makes no sense to me at all. Okay, will somebody help me on this one? Seriously, it doesn't make sense to me. If a piece of paper were folded 42 times, it would reach to the moon.
I don't know what that means.
What?
I don't know what that means.
Well, because as you fold a piece of paper, it gets smaller. What do you mean it would reach to the moon?
Yeah.
If anyone can comprehend whatever the hell that is, let us know. Who the hell knows if this is true? If you dug a hole to the center of the earth and dropped a book down the hole, it would take 42 minutes to reach the bottom.
Wait, what?
This is stupid. If you dug a hole in the center of the earth, to the center of the earth. Okay, so dug a hole halfway, right?
Okay.
Down, center. And then you threw a book down the hole. It would take 42 minutes to reach the bottom.
Who cares?
Thank you very much. But I mean, the same could be said for almost everything we have occupied your minds with up till now. This is... okay, this is information about you. that you do not probably even know. There are 10 times more bacteria in your body than actual cells. 10 times more bacteria than cells, body cells. And 90% of the cells that make us up are not human. They're funguses and bacteria. Aw, jeez. All right. Here's one you can take to the bank. Turtles can breathe out of their butts.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a dot over an I called? You know it has a name? There's a noun for it? The dot over an I? It's a tittle. Okay, and finally. This is weird. I love this. What do you think the probability of you drinking a glass of water that contains within it a molecule of water that back in the day passed through a dinosaur? Okay, you're drinking your glass of water. What are the odds that in that glass of water is a molecule that in the past passed through a dinosaur? A dinosaur drank maybe and he peed and blah, blah, blah. And now you're drinking that same molecule. What's the probability? Put a percentage on it there, Jess.
60%.
60% that you've quaffed the same molecule that a dinosaur did. Guess what? It's 100%.
What? Stop.
That's what it
Can you
says!
explain?
No, they don't explain anything with this stuff.
I want an explanation.
Okay, so that every time we drink water, we're drinking. I love that. There's, a certain connectivity about it, that we are one with the universe. It's the kind of brilliant thought you have if you ever dropped acid. And here's something you can claim to. At the time you were born, you were for a nanosecond the youngest human being on this planet. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And finally, and seriously, this is finally, dog food lid, spelled backwards, is dildo of God.
Who figured that out? What?
Do people not have things to do? Oh, dear. Okay. Chuck suggests, well, I can't because if she can't hear me now. Chuck suggests the audio is just fine now. All the issues we were talking about, they all are resolved. And he says, tell that woman who called with the sound issue to unmute her volume. Maybe that is what's happened, but what can we do? It's her problem. Been there, done that. Old ladies at home with their computers. I don't know if she was old, but she sounded sort of contemporaneous. Okay, we got to get a break in here. That's the end of the frivolity, folks. I got no more. It's down and dirty when we get back.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen Live after this.
Pittsburgh City Paper's annual music guide is available now. Pick up one today for a look at music education in city schools. Gary Newman, Ted Pappas, and Hart. Plus, don't miss your chance to win cash in our bracket contest. Pittsburgh City Paper, available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania, and on the web at pghcitypaper.com, your smartphone at citypapermobile.com, and at the iPhone App Store and Google Play.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. It's time we switch to longer-lasting Energy Star light bulbs. They're more efficient than the old bulbs, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. And they cut down on our energy costs. Because in our own groundbreaking age, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Somebody has sent me an obit. They know I love them. And this is a gentleman who died on March 11th, Walter George Brule Jr. And they sent it to me because they really thought this was a good one. I have not read it. I shall share it with you. Walter George Brule Jr. of Newark and Dewey Beach is a dead person. Well, it started out good. He is no more. He is bereft of life. He is deceased. He has rung down the curtain and gone to join the choir invisible. He has expired and gone to meet his maker. He drifted off this mortal coil. I don't think drifted is the right word. You shuffle off to Buffalo, shuffle off your mortal coil, I think, whatever. But Walter George Brule Jr. drifted off his mortal coil Sunday, March 9th in Punta Gorda, Florida. His spirit was released from his worn-out shell of a body and is now exploring the universe. He was surrounded by his loving wife of 57 years, Helen, who will now be able to purchase the mink coat which he had always refused her. Because he believed only minks should wear mink. He is also survived by sons, daughters, grandchildren. Walt was preceded in death by his tonsils and adenoids in 1935, a spinal disc in 1974, a large piece of his thyroid gland in 1988, and his prostate on March 27, 2000. He was born in Philadelphia and weighed in at a healthy 7 pounds, 4 ounces. He drifted through the Philadelphia public school system from 1937 through 1951, graduating to his mother's great relief from John Bartram High in June of 51. Walter was a Marine Corps veteran of the Korean War, having served from October to 54 to 50, with overseas duty in Japan till August. He attained the rank of sergeant. He chose this path because of Hollywood propaganda, to which he succumbed as a child during World War II. He served an electronics apprenticeship at the Philadelphia Naval Yard, operated Atlantic Automotive, and was employed by the late, great DuPont Company. Very few people who knew him would say he worked for DuPont, and he always claimed he had only been hired to fill a position. He started at the Chestnut Run site as a flunky in the weave area of the textile fibers department, and then was promoted to research assistant, where he stayed, blah, blah, blah. In 72, he accepted position, In 73, he was promoted to manufacturer, blah, 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 blah. And he was given a fine anniversary dinner and a token gift, and then downsized in December of 93. He was rehired as a contract employee in 94, doing the same job that he had been downsized from, and stayed until 95. There will be no viewing since his wife refuses to honor his request to have him standing in the corner of the room with a glass of Jack Daniels in his hand, so he would appear natural to visitors. I love this guy! He wrote this himself. That is totally clear. Totally clear. He wrote this before he died. God bless him. Cremation will take place at the family's convenience, and his ashes will be kept in an urn until they get tired of having it around. What's a Grecian urn? About 200 drachmas a week. Everyone who remembers him is asked to celebrate Walt's life in their own way. Raising a glass of their favorite drink in his memory would be quite appropriate. Instead of flowers, Walt would hope that you will do an unexpected and unsolicited act of kindness for some poor, unfortunate soul in his name. A memorial lunch will be held, yada, yada, yada. That's a great obit. I didn't know Walter George Brule Jr. of Dewey Beach, who is now a dead person by his own admission, but wow. That is adorable, and it puts in my mind that that's a smart thing to do. Write your own obit. Don't leave it to your hapless and or bereaved descendants. Do it yourself. It's your story. Write it like you want to. That's a good idea. I think I'll get right on that right after the show. Walter set the bar pretty high, I think. I really do. Okay, catching up with your emails. Regarding the Cookie Monster's name, for me, his first name will always be Alistair, as in Alistair Cook. Oh, as in Alistair Cookie. Host of Monster Piece Theater. Yeah, that is so cute. Yeah. Okay, I think we got it all. Others are all just saying, yes, the sound is good, the sound is good, the sound is good. Glad to hear it. All right. Well, so that was fun, too. Well, we've got to stop this fun. We've got to stop it immediately. We are supposed to be a talk show, and talk shows traffic in horror and rage. So let's get on it, okay? I came across a quote in a paper yesterday, and then some things got out of hand and never shared it with you. So I shall share it now, because it really struck me. This is an assistant attorney general in a state to be named later. This has been nothing short of a Herculean effort. But sadly, this effort has so far been unsuccessful. Now, that is an assistant attorney general. And what is he, you think, God, what? So something they're doing that is so important, and they've called all hands on deck, and they still haven't been able to fix this problem. The state is Oklahoma. The problem is they can't find any drugs to kill the guys they've got on death row. Can you imagine saying, sadly, this effort has been unsuccessful. We are not able to kill these people. Oh, God, what are we going to do? I've called in everybody in the building. We're working and working. Oh, we can't find the drugs to kill. Unbelievable. I have nothing else to say. You know why, though? Oh, I do. You can see. I do have something to say, and here's what I want to say. You know why? You know why they can't find drugs now? Because a lot of these drugs are manufactured in Europe. Yep, Europe. And Europeans, even European chemical companies, look with horror at the bloodlust in the criminal justice system of the United States of America and do not want to be part of it. So, to think of pharmaceutical companies as the good guys, I rarely do. I mean, and that's ridiculous since I take umpteen pills to stay alive, and I should be very grateful for all of them. That's true. But I mean, in terms of their marketing and their greed. But good God, even they can't stand being associated with us and with like the freaked out, bloodthirsty assistant attorney general of Oklahoma who's beside himself, who can't sleep at night because he can't find the drugs to kill. Okay. Well, here's a story. It involves a guy named Luke Ravenstahl. Do you remember him? Luke, the boy mayor, who now is retired by his own doing. And Luke, now, through his attorney, has admitted that he apparently did take the computer that belonged to the city that he used, the mayoral computer. He did take it home. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was reported missing along with some other stuff to the FBI by the current administration. And it was where I suspect the current administration thought it was. Yes, it was in Ravenstahl's home. And so he apparently has given it back. And here's what his attorney, this is better than the assistant attorney general in Oklahoma's quote. This is better. This might be my favorite of the week. Absolutely. Mr. Ravenstahl's attorney, Charles Porter, said the mayor took the computer because... Oh, wait. Oh, what? I didn't... Okay, I can't... I have to paraphrase it. I don't have the whole thing here. God damn. I'll paraphrase it. Here's what he said. He said he took the computer because he was concerned that the incoming administration, Bill Peduto's administration, would move in to the office, hide the computer, and then concoct a story about it being missing.
What?
Yes! Is that... And his attorney tells that to the media with a straight face.
Oh my God. What?
I mean, a 5-year-old wouldn't try that one.
Oh my God.
Did you follow that? I mean, because it's jaw-dropping. Yes, the former mayor does have the computer. He, so you can call the FBI off. And the reason he took the computer was he was concerned that the Peduto administration would come in, hide the computer, and then claim that he had taken it home. Excuse me. You can't make that up. And then there's another thing. The attorney, Ravenstahl's attorney said, because you know they're missing that $30,000 crystal bowl that, I forget, like Waterford class gave to the whatever, and some other things, some lovely blue vase that's also considered valuable, and other things, and those are missing. So here's what Ravenstahl's attorney says to that. Well, yes, in the process of packing up the office, Mr. Ravenstahl took memorabilia, gifts to him, things of that nature. Other items that may have been taken have been returned or will be. So I got a feeling Ravenstahl has the glass bowl. He's got all that crap. He just packed up the whole damn office and took it home, and it's city property. Does he It's unbelievable. And he only did it because he was concerned that the Peduto administration would come in and hide all of that stuff and then claim it was missing just to make him look bad.
It's absurd.
It's absurd. It's you know, when I get speechless, you know something is really extraordinary. Jeez. God. Okay. I hope that, you know what, I think this Mr. Porter, the attorney, I hope he's charging Luke a lot, because this is above and beyond the call of even a attorney's duty to have to mouth lies like that. I mean, that's beyond the pale. Beyond the pale. Did anyone look up the what do you call that? The it's not genealogy, for God's sakes. The what do you call that? What do you call that? The never mind. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to do? Because I seem to be blathering. I'm going to take our final break and collect myself. In a minute.
Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
BergBargains.com is your best bet for great deals in the Berg. Log on today for exclusive bargains from your favorite local restaurants like Blue Line Grill, Atria's, and Verde. Plus discounts on tickets to Tammy Pescatelli at the Improv. BergBargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains. BergBargains.com.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Joe writes, it seems to me that it's a clear-cut sign of guilt when a mayor has to unplug his PC on the last day in office and sneak it home to do who knows what with, only to return it a week later. Unbelievable. Yeah. And Henry has given us a fun fact. The number of people alive on the earth right now is higher than the number of all the people that have died ever. Really? Wait a minute. All right, okay. I'll accept it just because it involves numbers and numbers make my head hurt, but okay. Wow. And Mary, referring to Mick Jagger's now deceased lover, did you see that chick Mick Jagger was dating was 6'3"? Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm. And she wore heels. Geez, says Mary, who I know is a tall woman herself. I bet she started her own fashion company just to get clothes that fit. By the way, there is truth in that. She was so tall when she was growing up in Utah, I believe, that she learned to sew because she had to make her own clothes. Makes sense. And so she was forced, by virtue of her extraordinary length, to learn how to sew and ultimately, I guess, design her own clothing and parlay that into an extraordinarily successful career. And then Mary makes the observation, which I noted too. I don't think I did it on the show, but Jagger has a thing for tall American models, obviously. He was with Jerry Hall, who's 6 feet tall for a long time. And Mary says, I would not personally go out with him for fear of catching something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd go out with him. He wouldn't ask me, but I would, because I love his music. I don't think I'd love him. If I wanted to go out with any of the members of that band, I would definitely want to go out with Keith Richards.
Agreed.
Yep, Jess and I agree. We got good taste in men. We could have fun with him. All righty. There was this extremely disquieting report out of NASA the other day. Did you see it? I didn't even see it reported on much. Maybe people are afraid to even let this out, but I will. It is a NASA-funded study. And it was done, it was sponsored by its Goddard Space Flight Center. And let's hope it's wrong. Because it essentially, well, let's just say the headline is, NASA says civilization headed for collapse. And sooner than you want to hear. So this study, I let you laugh for 40 minutes. Now sober up. The NASA study concluded that there is a definite prospect that global industrial civilization could collapse in decades due to unsustainable resource exploitation, and here's the other thing they say will take us down, increasingly unequal wealth distribution. Now, this is interesting. This is NASA, okay? So it ain't like, I don't know, some lefty organization. I don't think. No. And they say that they know that such warnings as this report is putting out are often seen as something to be ignored, mostly because it scares the crap out of people, and also because it just seems unthinkable. It seems unthinkable. So it is sort of relegated to the fringe, which is why you didn't see big headlines yesterday about it. But it says if you know history, you will see that there is a constant rise and collapse of civilizations throughout history. And if we think for a minute that we're immune to this, ask the Incans, ask the Mayans, ask the Romans, ask a whole bunch of other that were at the height of what humans were capable of in their time. And often these civilizations collapse very quickly. Very quickly. The study was led by a mathematician, an applied mathematician of the National Science Foundation Socio-Environmental Synthesis Center. And it said that complex civilizations, if you look at the historical record, are susceptible to collapse. And to think that our modern civilization somehow is going to get a pass is absurd. And then they start naming these civilizations, the fall of the Roman Empire and the possibly more advanced Han Empire in China, the Mauryan, I don't even know who those people were, and Gupta empires, I don't know who that is, as well as the many advanced Mesopotamian empires, all testament to the fact that advanced, sophisticated, complex, and creative civilizations, all of adjectives we would employ in describing ourselves, can be both fragile and impermanent. And by investigating the dynamics of these past empires that did collapse, the project identified the most salient factors which explain this kind of decline and then collapse. And they are population, climate. I remember reading how I think they thought that the Incan civilization collapse was a result of climate changes, droughts, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, population, climate, water, energy, and agriculture. And they say the two key solutions are to reduce economic inequality so as to ensure a safer and fairer distribution of those resources, and to dramatically reduce the consumption of those resources by reducing population growth and by employing less intensive renewable resources. Collapse can be avoided and population can reach equilibrium if the per capita rate of depletion of nature is reduced to a sustainable level, and if resources are distributed in a reasonably equitable fashion. Do you see any indication that, first of all, we're acknowledging our precarious state, and or that the institutions we rely on to lead us are working on solutions to these issues they won't even acknowledge? So, just saying. And that, it's not like that comes from some fringe group. That came out of NASA. And I don't know, I thought there was somewhere here where it was available for your perusal. I think it is a very big study. And you know, once you have that in your head, you start reading the paper in a different way, because you start seeing these little stories, and they're all over the world, stories that seem to suggest that the concerns that such a study as this has about our future appear to be something we need to look at, because there's symptoms that this is happening already. And I just wanted to note, there was a piece in the Wall Street Journal, I think this was yesterday, about how the droughts throughout the world right now, we're certainly feeling drought in the United States, and especially in areas that we rely on for food production. I give you California, I give you Texas with its cattle. And that's true also. There's places in Africa where this is happening. Australia is having terrible, terrible drought. And what that does, obviously, is cause the price of food to go up. And in serious and global droughts brought on by climate change, you will see large spikes in the price of food. Now, if you're rich, that's no problem. But as we now know, a very small percentage of the world's population is holding most of the money. And most of the world's population is either just subsisting or struggles to be able to afford the food that it puts on its family's table. And if you look, because we don't pay attention to the rest of the world, but there have been riots already in parts of Africa because of food shortage, also in South Asia. This is the kind of civil distress and unrest that then yields revolution. And the Wall Street Journal article says that rising food prices were a major factor in the Arab Spring protests in North Africa and in the Middle East that toppled governments there, right? So governments fall, people migrate, there's resistance to the migrations, people are, holding the resources they have, and cataclysm comes. I'm looking at, in California, which is the largest producer of agricultural products in our country, 95% of that state is in a bona fide drought. And there are water shortages, livestock, they're not able to create enough feed for livestock. Livestock will fail. The cost of meat will way up. Already, get this, getting this from the Wall Street Journal article. In the last 3 months, even a little less than 3 months, since the end of 2013, listen to the rise in these commodity prices. In the last 2.5 months, the price of hogs has gone up 42.5%. Oats, 30%. Coffee, 71%. At coffee, or Starbucks is going to get more and more and more expensive. The coffee problem is because of drought in Brazil. So that puts strains on people's budgets and causes, and the same people who can't find work. And that's the kind of thing where you start seeing unbelievable instability. And clearly some of this has to do with unequal wealth distribution as well, because if there's going to be even less of a resource like food, then it should, if you have an equitable distribution, everybody is going to sort of get about the same amount. And that is sure as hell not the model we got going in this country. Animal feed prices have surged to record highs. And you've got dairy farmers and other and livestock farmers literally killing off animals because it makes no economic sense for them to pay the prices to feed them for what they'll then get in return for their product. So just telling you, once you realize that we are not immune from this rise and collapse of civilizations, and then you start reading the kinds of social, political, economic issues around our globe, you'll see that much of what this NASA report is talking about is certainly not hooey. It's worthy of our attention. So anyway, that's the depressing news. And now you see why I started relatively light, because I didn't want to get into all that with you. And I'm just going to check the emails, and then we can probably get on with things. Why can't I ever find anything on this? Hang on, I know I've got some here. Old mayor. Roger writes, someone should tell Luke he's the former mayor, not the old student council president. Stop acting like a teen. Oh, God. I was thinking anyone looking through, if the FBI's looking through his computer, I bet they just shake their heads. I mean, it would be like looking at someone in high school's computer. I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. We got some more here, but I'm having trouble finding it amidst the clutter. Ray, I know you sent me something, or I thought you did, and here's Mick Jagger. I don't necessarily think Mick has a thing for tall women. I think he likes transvestites. Well, yeah, there might be something to that. Do you remember his first wife, the Nicaraguan model? He likes models. Nicaraguan model, Bianca. Mm-hmm. When I saw I think it was my brother who said it. I'm not going to take his and give it to me. I think it was my brother who said, and he was so dead on, he looked at the picture of Mick and Bianca and said, my God, she looks exactly like him. So in that case, he married himself. Right. And I get, yeah, I get what you're saying. Oh, and now Mary has said, because we did the dog food lid thing turned out to be God's dildo, remember?
Oh, yeah.
She has said, Axl Rose. What? Oh, no, this is an anagram. Axl Rose is oral sex. Yeah. Lynn writes, Ray, did you see that Yes, I did, Ray. Did you see that lunatic Catholic League president Bill Donahue has called for a Guinness boycott because of their dropping of support for St. Paddy's Day parade over LGBT issues? Ray says, you know me, but if Jesus himself asked me to give up my pints, I would politely decline. Yeah, you don't think asking people who like Guinness to boycott Guinness because of the, yeah, right. No, I saw something else that this nutcase said, and he's off his rocker, is what he is. And I think good Catholics should disassociate themselves from his blatherings. And he also says regarding the pale of settlement and pale, beyond the pale, from pale, a jurisdiction under a given authority, often held by one nation in another country. Okay, hence suggesting that anything outside their control was uncivilized. It was in use by the mid-17th century. The phrase may be a reference to the general sense of boundary, but is often understood to refer to the English Pale in Ireland. In the nominally English territory of Ireland, only the Pale fell genuinely under the authority of English law, hence the term within the Pale and beyond the Pale. Okay, so much for, but the Pale of settlement in Russia, which would have been, around 17th, 18th century and on, okay, maybe secondary to that, the Irish and the English Pale. And finally, Russ writes, how far into digging a hole to the center of the earth would you forget why you were digging the hole? Or give up digging the hole? How long does it take to dig a hole to the center of the earth? And what book would you drop? These are all good questions. And I have no answers for you, Russ. If you dropped like a big, huge book, here's where I don't know anything about gravity. If you dropped a big, huge book and then a little teeny book, does the huge book drop faster? Or slower? Or is it the same?
I slept in science class.
You slept in science? If you dropped a typewriter and an apple off this floor.
Go faster, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We don't know.
I don't know.
Somebody quickly give us the answer and then we can all leave. I'm not leaving till somebody gives me the answer. What? Well, someone's got to know it. Someone who did pay attention in science class. You don't have to look it up. Right? So, somebody, quickly. Although this computer, I mean, I think you can send an email and it doesn't even get here until God knows when. So no one is. Damn it. Well, we'll have to get that answer tomorrow. Because someone will between now and then. Okay? Thank you all very much. Do not drop a typewriter. Even if you had one. Do you know I have one?
Do you?
I do. And I refuse to let it go because who knows when you might need a typewriter. Oh, yeah. I store it right next to my rotary phone. I love them both.
Is it an old one or is it a boxy one?
The typewriter? Mm-hmm. No, it was a.
Wait.
Oh, we got a call. Hello? Hello?
I dropped 2 books.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Lynn, it's Laura in Ann Arbor.
Oh, Laura, hi.
I dropped 2 books and they fell the same.
Yeah, but you weren't in a position to drop them from much than your desk, right?
Well, I was standing up.
But so this is not, what do you think? You drop a typewriter and an apple off the 20th floor?
I don't know, but I'll go upstairs and try dropping them.
Don't be sending things out of the windows. No, you might hurt somebody. But thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
All right, good to hear from you.
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye. Here's what's funny. That is my brother's secretary in Ann Arbor, who apparently found the show independently. Right? Oh, God. All right, that's it. Laura, that is not a definitive response. I'm sorry, but I appreciate your efforts. Okay, we got to go.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.